Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're finding the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape, or form. In a moment, I'm going to be discussing what's the difference between an asexual viewpoint of naked bodies and a sexual viewpoint of naked bodies. There is quite a distinct difference in some asexuals' thinking. So before we come on to that, if you've never heard of me before, I am Sandra Bellamy. And I wrote this awesome asexual book, which is called Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, A Celebration of Asexual Diversity. And that can be found on Amazon. So to get into today's video then is basically how do asexuals view naked bodies differently to sexuals. Now, this very much depends on where the asexual falls on the asexual spectrum. So there are varying differences of opinions depending on where the person identifies on the asexual spectrum. So someone who's very on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum will view the bodies differently quite a lot of the time to the ones who are on the less sexual end of the spectrum, in my personal experience. But overall, there's one really, really distinct difference that I have found, and that is basically when asexuals look at a naked body, a lot of the time they see something like a piece of artwork, right? And they see it as a piece of artwork that shouldn't be spoiled by having sex. So this is a real interesting way of discovering if the person you're actually with is asexual, because this is one of the telltale signs that maybe they're really into you, they really love your body, maybe they're really, really, really like the naked body, but they see having sex as spoiling it. This is a very, very different view some asexuals have compared to sexuals. And it's something that's could be something that you might overlook. So I have a friend who's not asexual, and they were talking to me, and I was explaining to them that basically, you know, this is how some people who are actually asexual look at a naked body. They for example, whether it's a guy or a girl or whatever gender it is, say it's a guy interested in a woman, they might actually love the female naked body, but they don't want to do anything like sexual intercourse to it because that'd be like spoiling it. It'd be like spoiling a beautiful painting, like splodging paint all over it and spoiling it, where they think it looks beautiful and gorgeous in and of itself. This is their opinion, not mine. Because, you know, so that is a big telltale sign that you might actually be with an asexual person. If the person you're with says, I really, really love your body, it's beautiful, and they you know, they stare at it or whatever, and they look in awe of it, and they really find you attractive physically, but when it comes to actually wanting intercourse, they're like, why would I want to do that? Do you know what I mean? Obviously, they could be penetration repulsed, which I touched on last night's video. So, you know, they could be penetration repulsed, which means if they're a penetration repulsed sexual, then it means they don't like intercourse. They could like doing everything else but the intercourse. Do you know what I mean? So you have to bear that in mind. But, you know, sometimes it's hard for sexuals to understand whether they're with an asexual person or not, you know? And it's important that sexuals understand if they are with an asexual person, that they don't see the naked body in the same way that they do usually. You know, it's very important because for breaching understanding between the different types of sexualities. And me personally, I'm a naked repulsed asexual. Now, there are not many of us. My best friend, Sam, they're also naked repulsed. And so they don't like the naked body. I don't personally see a need for nudity in any way, shape or form. I don't personally like it in sculptures. I don't personally like it in paintings. I don't like it on TV. Don't like it in magazines. I think a person, whatever gender they are, looks much better with their clothes on. I'm not attracted to females, but I can tell you just from seeing females that they look a damn sight better with their clothes on. Because I find, you know, in terms of naked body, if I was going to look at a naked body, it would always be a guy's, because I'm attracted to guys aesthetically, not women. don't like the female naked body, but the more clothes a woman's got on, the better, really. Do you know what I mean? So for example, I was watching some music videos over the last 2 days in between doing some work, and I've got Beyonce music video, and I've got a Mariah Carey music video. Obviously they're quite a few years ago music videos, and you know, they're quite scantily clad. I mean, Mariah Carey's just like got a bikini top and bottom on with like a thin top on, you know, in the beginning, like a thin shawl type thing. And Beyonce's got like a leotard thing on. So, you know, they haven't got much clothes on, particularly like I said, Mariah Carey. And I'm just looking like thinking, you know, you'd look better with some more clothes on. And then later on, she gets a bit more clothes on, which is better. And when I'm looking at the clothes, well, and I'm looking at that person who's obviously got some flesh on show, I'm actually looking at the clothes thinking, I really like the sparkly. I mean, she has a sparkly bra on. I'm not bothered about the bits in the bra because I don't like naked bodies, but I like the bra itself, as in it's got sparkly bits on it, you know? And I like the fact that she's got a sparkly necklace on. So I'll be looking at the necklace, I'll be looking at the material, the sequins and stuff like that. And, you know, the guys I'm looking at, because they've got foreign guy dancers in the Mariah Carey videos, and they've got like, I love the street look, as I've told you before, and they'll have like these silver metallic jackets on the guys, and I just think they look so gorgeous in those silver metallic jackets. I like bomber jackets myself. I like that type of style of street clothes. And so, you know, I like the person with more clothes on. To me, that is far more attractive and actually enhances their appearance. I don't like the naked body. I don't find anything appealing about it. I'm okay with the guy's chest. I'm better with the guy's chest than I was before. I mean, obviously, years ago, I used to be naked when I was in heterosexual relationships half of my life. You know, but when I see a guy, if he's got certain clothes on, he just looks so much more kissable and scrumptious with his clothes on. You know, so I always prefer a guy with his clothes on, and I think a woman looks, you know, better having clothes on. But like I said, with women, I'm literally looking at the sparkly sequins and things like that. So, you know, it does vary, because obviously some asexuals, or particularly on the more sexual end of the spectrum, they can actually be getting turned on by, you know, seeing images of naked women. You know, they can be masturbating to it. I mean, even those on the not so sexual end of the asexual spectrum can use porn to masturbate to, even though they're asexual, because they want to relieve the arousal, and the imagery helps them to get aroused and to relieve the arousal. So yeah, I don't watch porn. I have no interest in it whatsoever. I find it disgusting personally, but that's my personal point of view, you know. And so, you know, it does vary from individual to individual, but I wanted to bring to your attention the fact that the overall theme really for asexuals is we look at far other things than the body. We either look at the body in, you know, as a whole asexual community. We either look at body more as a form of artwork, which should be admired for its beauty, and not have sexual intercourse spoiling it. Or, you know, we're looking more at the clothes and the jewelry the person's wearing. Do you know what I mean? So it's important to look for these type of things in the partner that you've got, or people you're around. You know, it's often kind of a sign that you might know someone or be around someone that's possibly asexual, or the asexual spectrum. It's not really talked about on many other channels. I don't see the topic coming up that much. Apart from, obviously, it is quite well known that asexuals don't sexualize the body as such. You know, like the media and all the television, everything, that, you know, naked bodies are so overly sexualized, and women are still treated a lot like sex objects, unfortunately. And a lot of it's due to the fact that a lot of people are sexual in the world, and a lot of people do like to see naked women and get off on that, you know. And, you know, it's quite sad in some ways, you know, but it is the way, you know, that quite a large population of the society still is. But not every person's like that, and that's what you have to remember. You know, not every person's the same, you know. And there are some sexuals that are a lot more reserved, or a lot more, you know, like thoughtful. Do you know what I'm saying? So you have to take each person as you find them on their own merits. But, you know, asexuals as a general whole get absolutely fed up with bodies being sexualized, with, you know, sex being put on a pedestal, as someone says it in my in my Asexual Perspectives book, you know. And you know, it's just a shame that people associate their naked bodies so much with sexualization, you know. I personally just don't like nudity. I never have done since I've been like a toddler. I really haven't. I mean, I remember being on my potty and all of a sudden coming to the realization that my mum saw me on there in the kitchen and was like, she's seen me naked. I shouldn't be naked in front of my mum. Do you see where I'm coming from? This is as a toddler. I had a problem with nudity. So I really don't like the naked body. But, you know, I appreciate those people that, you know, do think the naked body's fine. But, you know, like I said, overall, we've got to remember that asexuals do generally think about the naked body different, and we don't see it as an object that has to be having intercourse put into it, but rather a work of art or beauty. Oh, hello, Liam. How are you? Hello, beautiful Sandra. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love to you. I always love to see you. It's nice to see you. How are you doing tonight? How are you doing? It's a pleasure to see you as always. I was talking about nudity and how different the views are of asexual people compared to sexual people. And I personally don't like nudity. I'm nudity repulsed, and I always have been since being a toddler. But, you know, in general, the asexuals, a lot of them see the naked body, if they like the naked body, they see it as a work of art and beauty that doesn't need to be spoilt by sex. Do you know what I mean? Particularly sexual intercourse. Whereas, you know, sexuals are very, very different. And I was saying that it's one way of telling if you're actually in a relationship or seeing or dating someone who is asexual, because they'll look at it differently, you know. Because some people might, you know, for example, some sexuals might be like, well, why doesn't my partner want sex with me when they're saying my body's absolutely stunningly beautiful and amazing and they look gorgeous? Do you know what I mean? Some sexuals have a hard time understanding and fathoming out that, and it's really because they're asexual usually, and they just don't see the body as something that needs to be spoilt with sex. Sex spoils the body, is what a lot of asexuals believe. Not all asexuals. I did explain at the beginning of this video that every asexual is different and they vary depending on where they are on the asexual spectrum. But you know, someone I was trying to explain to is not asexual. They didn't understand why someone might find their body really attractive, yet they don't actually want to have sex. And obviously it could be for various reasons, you know, but it's likely they're asexual on the asexual spectrum. But I did say that, you know, it could be because they're penetration repulsed, but likely if they really love the body and they're, you know, they're going, you know, then it could be penetration repulsed, or the fact they just, you know, are asexual and they don't want sex because they think they'd spoil it, you know. And I personally, like, I always find guys much more attractive with their clothes on, you know. My favorite look's the street look, which I was mentioning a few moments ago. And, you know, of all the street dance movies and those type of things, I love those street dance films, you know. They're really, really cool. And I also like a guy in a suit as well. Marky UK, I noticed since lockdown been difference. How's people been looking? I noticed since lockdown been different. How's people been looking? Marky UK. Hello, Marky UK. I don't know what you know about looking, but I am good, thank you. Very good. Yeah, I think maybe you mean that they don't all look very, you know, like vibrant and energetic. No, I'm doing good overall, thank you. You know, I think it's important to stay positive. Trains going by. See, the trains are on here more now. Yeah, I think it's important to stay positive in times of things going on in the world and stuff. I mean, people look different. Liam, I'm okay, never interested in nudity. Most sexuals will never understand asexuals. Yeah, I do agree, Liam. Yeah, I'm never interested in nudity either. And I do agree most sexuals will never understand asexuals. Less dressed up, but looking better. Right, I don't what you mean during lockdown people have been less dressed up but looking better. I personally like casual, smart casual look on people, so it's all good, isn't it? Yeah, so I like smart casual. Yeah, I like smart casual look. I wear a lot of night. I do my live streams in PJs a lot of the time, so I'm kind of like hanging out with you in my bedroom in PJs a lot of the time. So I'm kind of always in casual clothes a lot of the time. There's not many people that stream in their PJs. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate you. Yeah. So yeah, but I do think it's difficult for sexuals to understand asexuals, and that's why I was doing this video in the hope that it will help a bit, you know. Because I do, you know, I understand asexuals because I am asexual. I also have been in heterosexual relationships for half my life, so I've kind of lived that weird life. Do you know what I mean? That sexual life years ago. So that was kind of interesting for years of my life. But yeah, I'm glad that I'm asexual. I'm glad I found out I was asexual. It was such a relief to me. I think that, you know, when you find other people that you understand you and that just get you, and it's just normal for us to, you know, feel the way we do. I mean, there was someone who posted in a group who's friends with me on Facebook actually, and they've posted, you know, like, you know, they'd love to be in a relationship, they want kissing, cuddles, hand holding, but to have separate beds in the same house. Is that normal? And that is perfectly normal for asexuals, you know. Some asexuals are like that. I'm not saying all asexuals are like that, but it's a perfectly normal and valid thing for asexuals to think and feel, you know. I personally don't like nudity, so for me, I don't want to get undressed in front of a guy, so I'd have to go, if a guy stayed over my place, I'd kind of have to go and get changed in the shower room and close the door or something like that, or you know what I mean. So my shower room doesn't have any windows in there, so it's very, very small though, very tiny. So you know what I mean, it's kind of difficult if you have got a problem with nudity as an asexual and you are dating or in a relationship with someone. If you don't want them to see you naked, you kind of have to let them know that from the beginning before you can get into a relationship with them, and you kind of have to plan out how you're going to actually get changed in another room and stuff like that. So, you know, I was naked in the past with my exes, so I don't know if I'd ever change my mind on that. At the moment, I'm saying no. If it was an asexual guy, if I could trust him, maybe, I don't know. But if I end up with a sexual guy, I'll just be thinking, nah, like, no. I don't really want to be with a sexual guy. I want to be with an asexual guy, you know. My dream would be to absolutely passionately kiss an asexual guy so much, but without ever having sex. But I do like to keep my clothes on when I'm kissing, and it's a lot safer because obviously things can still happen when you're kissing, whether you like it or not. Or, well, obviously, you know, when I say you like it or not, it has to be within your boundaries and your limits, but you know, something could happen if you're not clothed. So I know there's an asexual guy years ago I met on an asexual dating site, asexuality.com, and he liked to completely strip down and do everything but the intercourse, and that was just too sexual for me. And I like, how does the person stop getting you know, how do you stop the woman getting pregnant? And he's like, oh, with great difficulty. And I'm like, I don't want to be in that type of situation, you know. I think that you know, you've got to be very, very careful. And I just don't, you know, I get more pleasure kissing when I'm fully clothed than I ever did when I'm naked, because it kind of like turns me off nakedness. And especially, you know, I don't want to see a guy below their waist naked, and it really turns me off and makes me feel yuck. And also I feel less safe, you know, I feel a lot more protected when I have my clothes on. And so, you know, like if I ever did share a bed with a guy, I'd be wearing my pajamas. Like, he wouldn't see me naked. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, no, you can't see me naked. I'm just like, that's my business. That's my private bits for my private bits. I honestly think that. I think, you know, like, people's bits should be private for themselves. In my own like logic, that seems like what they call private parts. Do you know what I mean? Because they're private to the person that owns them. That is a person whose body it actually is, you know. So, you know, you've got to be very careful as an asexual that you are getting your own needs met, you know, because asexuals can have different physical needs without needing nudity or sex. You know, a lot of asexuals, they love cuddling. They don't necessarily need to be naked to do that. They just can curl up in front of the TV with their clothes on, cuddling and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? And so you really have to bear in mind that asexuals and sexuals usually think very differently about this type of thing. And you would need to ask the asexual their own personal opinion and what they feel and think. You know, personally for me, I would rather be with a person who was nudity repulsed like me overall, do you know what I mean? Or really not bothered about it, really don't need to go and see it or watch it, do you know what I mean? Because I'd feel a lot more comfortable then. I don't like sitting in the cinema. I mean, usually I try and get films that have got no nudity in. As you know from watching this channel, I do a lot of no sex movie reviews because I try to always get movies that haven't got any sex or nudity in them to watch. But you know, if I'm sat in the cinema and the guy's there gawking at the woman who's say she was naked, it would just really make me uncomfortable. Because I always believe that if you're in a relationship with someone, you should actually just be looking at the person's naked body if they want you to look at it, not go around looking at other people's. It's just a philosophy I've always had and just something that I feel, do you know what I mean? And so, you know, no one is right, no one is wrong, everyone's feelings are valid, but you have to understand that, you know, you have to get compatibility in a relationship. If you're going to be in a relationship or date, you have to get that, you know, you have to get some sort of common ground and have something to share like that. You know, if one's really nudity repulsed and the other one totally loves nakedness and really wants the nudity repulsed person to be naked all the time, it's not really going to work. It's going to be very uncomfortable for that person unless they don't mind their partner going elsewhere to look at nude stuff. Do you know what I mean? So porn is you know, it's so, for me, I just don't see the appeal. I never look at it. I don't like it. If it comes up in my news feed, I'm like, oh my lord, why? I don't want to see that rubbish. On Twitter, it's very full of it. I've had loads of women following me and try to, like, they're cam girls. It's like, I'm female and I'm not attracted to females and I don't want to cam sex or anything with a woman or any guy or anything. I'm not into that, you know. Like my exes never asked me or even dreamed of asking me for cam sex or anything like that. And so that's why I really don't understand why all of a sudden in the 21st century that people are all about cam sex and stuff and sharing nude photographs and that. I mean, I've been asked by a few asexual guys to share nude photographs. It's like, what? Really? No, not on your life. I never did that in my past and I ain't ever going to do it ever again. Do you know? One is I don't like nudity anyway. Two is you're not going to see my naked body. Three is if you ever did, it would not be on a photograph or in a video. Do you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. I think if you're gonna be naked, may as well go to, you know, if you really want to be naked for the whole world to see, you may as well go and pose as a blooming model doing that and get well paid for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, not send some random nude pic of yourself to a bloke that don't even appreciate you, probably. Do you know what I mean? You may as well get paid for it if you're gonna do that type of thing. But you know, it's just like not my scene. So yeah, I just think that you've really got to ask the asexual person and you've really got to get to know them as a person and see what they like and dislike, you know. But it is, I do agree with you, Liam, it's very difficult for asexuals and sexuals to understand each other. I understand both to a certain extent. I mean, obviously I'm asexual, but I was in relationships, heterosexual relationships for half my life. So I do understand sexuals quite a bit, probably more than a lot of asexuals do overall, because I've been in heterosexual relationships. But there's a lot of sexual energy, you know, and that can be very disconcerting if you're not you know, into having sex, like a sex repulsed asexual. When you feel the sexual energy, you know, it can be very difficult sometimes unless you're in a controlled environment. Like when I go clubbing, I'm okay because overall, because I've got security guards there, I know where I'm going. Liam, you're a loyal person, Sandra. Any guy would be lucky to have you. Lucky. You're a loyal person, Sandra. Any guy would be lucky. Oh, thank you. I have watched porn and it really just bores me. Oh, well, thank you for sharing that. That's very good you admit that. Oh, that's really sweet. You say I'm lucky to have me. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, I'm really glad you said that. I know some asexuals have watched it as well and they thought the same. It bores them. Some are indifferent to it and don't get bothered by it one way or the other. But yeah, so I know that in terms of sex, a lot of asexuals can find sex a chore. Like they're busy thinking about other things, like what's on their shopping list, what meals are they going to cook later, like what TV program are they going to watch, or what's the book? I've got to get back to reading that book, you know. So if asexuals do have sex, some of them, well, quite a lot of us would have other things on our mind because it's not really the sex we're interested in. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't too bad years ago when I did that, but my mind did get distracted. You know what I mean? Like with the actual intercourse bit, it did kind of go off elsewhere. And I felt a bit weird. I felt like I should be a bit more like not having my mind distracted elsewhere, but I did find that hard sometimes to not get my mind to just be distracted elsewhere. But I come to know that's quite normal for asexuals, you know, to have their mind distracted if they are going to try or do that. Do you know what I mean? It's because we're really kind of not really that into it or interested in it. We're kind of just doing it because we're just expected of us or to please our partner. Or but I did feel everything. Like some asexuals say that they never felt anything, like they felt like they were just watching a story being played out in front of them. It wasn't their own, that type of thing. But for me, I felt everything. I knew it was me doing that. I was quite involved in it, really, even though I left my partner at the time just to get on with it and do what he wanted. But when I say what he wanted, you know, he never tried to do anything that I don't want, like BDSM stuff or anything. I've never been into that either. He's never attempted, none of my exes attempted stuff like that. I would have run a mile because it's not my thing. I hate pain. I don't like lip biting as well. That seems to be a very, very common thing, is people like lip biting. To me, that's pain. And it's like, I don't want any pain. If I kiss, I want to love the kissing. I want to actually have kissing, not lip biting. But some people love it because they find it really passionate and they find it really turning on. For me, I just a huge turn off. And I feel like, why are you hurting me and abusing my body, abusing my lips? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're biting me. Since when has biting been a pleasant thing? And when has biting been a good thing? You know, if someone bites you, it's abuse as far as I'm concerned. But that's my personal opinion, you know. I know, like I said, I've met lots of people that don't believe that. I think biting's great and passionate and wonderful and they love it and they like to have that as part of what they do with the kissing. But I've only ever had one guy purposely bite my lip, and it was like, I turned around and said to him, "Is that the best you can do?" I'm like, "That's not kissing, that's biting." He wasn't very happy. He's asexual. He was like, there was women dancing, and I'm like, "Oh, you can go and dance with them women if you want. I'm not going back to yours." He went off in a huff and he ended up putting his drink on the bar and went out. It was funny. That was actually an Indian guy. So I don't, you know, I'm the first time I've actually properly kissed an Indian guy was last November, because he actually properly kissed me in the club. This other guy, he just went in to try and kiss me and just started biting my lip, and I'm like, it's not kissing. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't like that. I find it very aggressive. I worry if they were doing that, like, am I gonna they're gonna fetch blood on me? I'd just be like, you know, I'm like a gentle butterfly in some ways, not always. But in terms of biting or not biting, I want the butterfly thing. Sex really bores me. Generally couldn't be bothered with. I don't find sex or romance really worth. Sex really bores me. Generally couldn't be bothered with. I don't find sex or romance really worth it. Ah, right, okay, Liam. I mean, I agree with you on the sex. For me, with romance, I find romance quite hurtful and painful, actually. So I've tried to detoxify myself from dating recently, since the 14th of May, because I found that when I was going on dating sites that aren't for asexuals, it was really upsetting me. And I had a succession of guys that were interested in me, Indian guys, and none of them were right for me. And not, you know, they ended up not even being in the UK. And I keep saying now I need a guy in the UK. You know what I mean? It's just too painful or hurtful. It's just ridiculous. Someone in another country, you know? It's just like, I can't be doing with it. And so with romance, you know, I'm a hyper romantic, so that does get really difficult. But what I've been doing lately is trying not to listen to too much love song stuff. But the problem with that is when I listen to the love songs, and specifically of foreign guy songs, because I love foreign music, it makes me really energized, really happier, much happier. mood, it elevates me and I feel like I'm on a natural high all the time. And even when I watch dance movies, which have all got a romantic theme in usually, they make me really, really happy and elated. And because I haven't been watching them as much, I find my romance side's gone down, which is great in terms of like I haven't got this hyper romanticism stuff going off. And you know, I'm not there looking at dating sites all the time. I've detoxified from that, but I'm finding my mood's not as happy. Like I was experiencing that this morning, like the last few days. I'm like feeling a little bit sad. I'm like, why is this? This is just not good. And also, you know, I love writing, and I haven't been able to. I am doing I'm doing writing for a course now. I'm doing a course now that came with a book, copywriting course. It's quite interesting and quite intense, and so I am doing some writing. But I want to get back to writing my Asexual Guide to Sex book, which I can't get back to till next month now because I've got too much to finish this month. But writing's my hugest passion. It's a love of my life. You know, so I'm going to be really happy to get back to that because I kind of feel like my soul's bleeding when I don't do the writing I enjoy and love, you know. But at least I'm doing some writing. Copywriting I should be good at actually, because obviously I'm good at writing. So, but I've never done like a copywriting course before. It's a video training course, and I'm like, it's 14 modules, and I'm like got to the 5th one, and the next one is like a recorded coaching call. It's like 80 something minutes, and there's quite a few of those. I'm like, oh my god, this is going to take hours to go through all this stuff and really learn it all. But it's good. It's what I need to do. So it's interesting. But yeah, so I kind of like feel that because I'm not watching so much romantic stuff, and because I'm not listening to the foreign music that really, really energizes me, that I'm not got as much energy. I'm getting tireder. So I don't know what to do about that, because for me it's really hard to get balance. Really, I need to go back to the foreign music again because it makes me elated, happier, my mood's elevated. Like when I watch dance music, it actually really elevates me. Liam, never had any crush, celebrity or otherwise, and I'm in my 30s now. Oh, I wondered how old you are, because you sound quite young. You sound quite young, so oh, you're lucky in a way. I think romance is quite a lot of upset and pain, you know, and that's coming from a hyper romantic. If you get someone who loves you back just as much and who really loves romance as much as you and likes all the same type of physical stuff as you, then I think it's wonderful. You know, I think it's a beautiful, magical, spellbinding feeling and incredible. And I do love myself as well, so that's good. But you know, I get attracted romantically very easily and quickly to guys, especially foreign guys, particularly Indian guys. And so I do find that really difficult. It really is a struggle for me. And so actually I think if people have never, you know, any asexual hasn't had a crush, and you know, not into romance, I think you do actually avoid more drama. I mean, people who are like there's someone in my Asexual Perspectives book that also thinks romance is really overrated, right? And I appreciate their point of view, and they think that, you know, aromantics have a lot less drama, you know, those that lack romantic attraction. And I agree, they probably do have a lot less drama, even though I'm a romantic asexual. I think they do have a lot less drama. But I do know there are some asexual aromantics who do desire to feel romance, and they get a bit upset that they're in a partnership, for example, and they don't feel romantic towards the partner, and they feel like there's something wrong with them. And you know, I do feel sorry and sad for them, because I understand how it's difficult when you want to feel something and you don't. Do you know what I mean? With any aromantic asexuals that are happy they don't experience romance, I think good for you. And yeah, you've probably got a lot less drama in your life in that respect, in a relationship sense. You know, in, you know, because you haven't got that element. However, obviously sometimes it's difficult for aromantic asexuals, because, you know, a lot of your friends who you're really close to are paired off and married or got kids, and therefore you don't see them as much as you used to. And I know that's quite a big factor for aromantics, who, you know, they find it difficult to you know, like see their friends when their friends are paired off, you know, as much as they used to, because obviously they've got another life as well now, you know. And so they aromantics can have dramas in other ways. And I do know there's some people even in my groups, you know, and they do get a little bit upset sometimes. It's the fact that they can't experience romantic attraction. and they're like, I don't know, I want to, because I don't know how it feels, and everyone talks about it, and sometimes they think it's a magical the way it's talked about. Do you know what I mean? So hi Dave, nice to see you. I think aromantics have their own struggles, so I don't want to say that aromantic life is easy or anything like that. But I do think, Liam, as you said, that you're not bothered about romance. I think good for you, really, because at the end of the day, if you're not bothered about sex or romance, you're not missing anything. It's only for the people who are really into that kind of feel like they're missing out. If you're not into it, don't need it, don't want it, you're not missing anything. That's what I say about sex as well. Like, if you're an asexual who's never had sex before in your life, then good for you, because you don't need it. If you've never had it and you don't want it and you don't miss it, there's no need for it. I haven't done that since 2011, and I never want to. Liam, if most people knew that about me, they would think, oh, won't you be lonely? That's why I don't tell many people. Oh, I'm sorry, Liam, people say that. Dave, my friend Michael said I should watch you. Oh, thank you, Dave. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, I haven't, well, I don't think he's been on the channel for a little while, but it's nice. Thank you so much. It's lovely to have you here. Nice to see you. I stream most days, nearly every day. I try to stream every day. We talk about lots of different topics on this show. So thank Michael as well. It's really appreciative of him telling you about this show. Yeah, it's a chat show, so we kind of end up going off topic quite a bit and talking about other things as well. But I think it's nice for asexuals to have a place to hang out, and call their own, really. I think it's good. It's a different type of format to a lot of other asexual channels, so it's nice. It's really nice, I think. So yeah, we were talking about nudity in the beginning and different perspectives, like overall most asexuals see the body as those who like the naked body, because I personally don't. I'm nudity repulsed. Those who like the naked body as an art form in and of itself, that sex just spoils a lot of the time. And now we've gone on to talking about relationships and romance a bit as well, because we talked about different outfits on people as well. I like certain types of outfits. I think guys look much better clothed than naked, and women too, obviously. I'm not attracted to women. But yeah, so now we were talking about porn, because we were talking about naked. Like some sexuals do watch porn and they do masturbate to it. I've never watched porn, don't like it. I'm not interested because I don't like nudity, Liam was saying that sex really bores them, and they're not interested in sex or romance. And you're perfectly fine, Liam, to say on this channel that won't you be lonely, because it's not true. Like, I was a speaker at the UK Asexuality conference in July 2018, and there was a girl there who was on stage, and she was talking about being an aromantic asexual, and that was one of the things that her family find it hard to wrap their head around, that she doesn't want a partner and she never wants a partner. And they're like, oh, but you're going to be so lonely, you're going to die alone type thing. And she's like, well, I'm happy, I've got my friends, that's all I need. And I think that's really important, that if you want to stay single forever till the end of your time, then there's nothing wrong with that, And you're only lonely if you choose to be lonely or feel lonely. Do you know what I mean? So life is what you make it, I think. And I think if you can be on your own and never be lonely and be happy being single, I think it's actually a much better life most of the time. In my personal experience of being in relationships, it's very difficult to have a relationship, because a lot of people are so different. Obviously I was in heterosexual relationships for half of my life in the past, so that was very, very difficult for me, because I didn't know I was asexual at the time. So I do think if you're someone who isn't romantic, then that's to be celebrated. You've got less drama really in that way, and you're content and happy on your own, and that should be applauded. It make my life a lot easier in some ways, for me personally, if I wasn't romantic. Dave, when I tell people I'm asexual, they laugh at me and it makes me sad. That's not nice. That's horrible of them. Yeah, I mean, I would just ignore them. Like, what I say, and I talk about it more. Like, if people start saying that, just talk about it more. So what asexuals do, which I've always said, is you have to understand that your asexuality is non-negotiable. So always have the attitude that your asexuality is non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what people say, they can't negotiate your asexuality. You are what you are. So that whether they like your asexuality or don't, that's their opinion. But the fact is, you're asexual. It doesn't change whatever they say. So I'm really sorry that they laugh at you. You know, it's not very nice. But you just have to understand that they're the ones with the problem, not you. They're doing it because they're uncomfortable, because they're naive, because they're closed-minded, that type of thing. You know, I have 2 people who aren't asexual who come on this channel to support me quite a lot of the time. You know, Heather, and also there's another guy as well, Liam. I have only found the word asexuality recently. Wished I knew it when I was in school. Oh, right, Liam, I didn't realise. I know you haven't been on my channel very long, but it's a pleasure to have you here as always. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I wondered what it'd be like if I knew about asexuality when I was in school. I mean, there's no way I could have known it back then, you know? But it would have made sense of my life more and why it was so different. And I wish it was in schools. I really do. You know, I know someone who's an entrepreneur, because I'm in the entrepreneur sphere as well as asexual sphere, and he said he's building a course about sexuality because he teaches sexuality and sex stuff, conscious sex stuff. So, you know, I'm friends with him, even though he's not the same as me. But I did say to him, he's going to be putting a program together for 11 to 18-year-olds, and he's going to be talking about sexuality and conscious sex and all that. There's supposed to be a spiritual side to having sex, which I don't really get involved with, because at the end of the day, I don't personally want sex. But, you know, some people see it as a spiritual thing, which is up to them. And you know, and therefore, but I did say to him, are you going to be talking about asexuality as well? Because it'd be really great if you include that. He goes, oh, of course I'm going to include that, which is good, because I do know he did message me, because I think he learned of asexuality through me. I'm not 100% sure, but he did message me saying a while ago, a few months ago, it was a couple of months ago, I think, that he was watching a program on Netflix that was to do with asexuality, and he wanted me to know. When was Michael last here? For my birthday. I've still got my birthday balloons here. It was my birthday on the 24th of April. Quite some time ago, but I still have balloons. I don't get rid of them. I like them to go down naturally. So I'll just keep them up. Yeah, so that's when I know he was here for definite on my birthday. He used to be here regularly, but he goes to bed earlier. So, you know, I started doing my streams later. So he usually likes to go to sleep earlier and has a set routine. So, but I know for definitely he was here for my birthday present opening, which was really, really nice of him. I don't know if he tunes in at other times as well. But I have another, because Michael's still an admin on this channel. I have another admin as well, who's my best friend, who's busy doing stuff at the moment. So, yeah. So that's when I definitely know he was last here. He used to be on the show like all the time in the beginning. He used to be one of the regulars. But you know, I go on for longer now. I do a much longer show than I used to, and it's much later at night. So Michael prefers to have earlier shows, and I think less time. And also, Michael's an aromantic, and I do sometimes talk about romance and dating quite a bit on this channel as well. So sometimes that's not really what he's into. But you know, he's still awesome, and he did go off for quite some time to be a moderator on Avon. Last time I spoke to him, he'd stepped down from doing the particular moderating for personal reasons, but he used to be he went from this channel, was a moderator on Avon. I think he's very still active over there. So Liam, we share the same birthday. I was 2 days after the Chernobyl accident. Chernobyl accident? What was that? What was that, Liam? Oh yeah, we share the same birthday, me and Liam, the 24th. Have you got any birthday balloons up, Liam, still? Did you have birthday balloons? See, I've still got my birthday card up. See, my balloons there and my banner and everything. I'm like, oh, it looks nice. I'll just keep it up. Because I just like it. And I got that eagle that's on my bed, that little one. Not the one that's laid down, the top one. That's my best asexual friend bought me that eel. So cute. I collect eels. But yeah, so yeah, I remember it was cool. Liam was on the stream as well then. It's really good. But yeah, so yeah, I'm really sorry. But yeah, we're going back to what you said about people laughing at you, Dave, it's just really important to be very, very strong in your asexuality and not let them discourage you from talking about it because they want to silence you. So do the opposite. I mean, when I was in my old job, I used to talk about asexuality all the time. I actually got into trouble for it with my old work once. Because I was talking about it too much, right? And so I used to talk about it in the locker room. I used to talk about it in the staff room. I used to talk about it whenever and wherever because I wanted to raise awareness of asexuality. And I just thought it's so important for people to hear about it, understand it. And I had two people who were my friends. I had more than two people there, but I knew. But there was two people who were my friends. And the first one I told was the first person I told other than my parents. And she was really bad about it in the beginning. When I first walked home from work and told about my asexuality, she was like, she laughed at me and she's like, oh, come on. You talk about guys all the time because I'm a hyper romantic and I do get attracted to a lot of guys. And I'm like, yeah, I know I am attracted to foreign guys, but I don't actually have sex with them. And she's like, oh, you just haven't found the right guy yet. And of course, this is something that is brought up time and time again with asexuals. It's all they just haven't found the right guy yet. And I wished I'd had the knowledge then to say, you're absolutely right, I haven't found the right asexual guy for me yet, but I'm still hopeful. Do you know what I mean? Which would have been a smart answer. But back then I was very, very weak in my asexuality. It was new to the concept. I'd only known about it a few weeks. About 3 weeks, I think it was. And I was very, very weak. I didn't have a strength. I was still discovering about it. I was still discovering where I fell on the spectrum. It took me 3 weeks of research to even, fully know kind of where I was. So I think it was 3 weeks, or it might have been sooner than that I actually told that person, And we were coming, she used to live the same way as me from work, part of the way. And she literally was laughing and she just thought it was hilarious that because she didn't understand, right? And I was weak. I said, I found this thing called asexuality. I think I'm asexual, and I used to think language like I think and stuff like that, and it was just really bad because I wasn't confident, So the best thing you can do with your asexuality is become more and more and more confident in it. Liam, no, I don't really actually pay much attention to my birthday. Have you heard about the Chemobile power plant that happened? No, I don't watch the news. Dave, do you have a celebrity crush? I don't do crushes. So as an asexual hyper romantic, I don't get crushes. I don't even know what a crush is. I usually I don't have any platonic attraction as well, Dave, which is very, very weird for an asexual. So for me, someone who's hyper romantic, excessively romantic, who doesn't experience any platonic attraction, I usually have some attraction for all my friends, which is not female, but any male friends or people, even if someone identifies as non-binary, but they were born male and still look like a guy to me, I'll still be attracted to them as well, which is very annoying. So I don't have any crushes. I don't swishes. I don't understand them really because I've never experienced them. I jump straight from I've just known the person to being attracted to the person, usually romantically or aesthetically or emotional connection. Usually it's romantically or aesthetically, but sometimes I can be intelligently attracted to them. Sometimes it can be spiritually attracted to them. So I have about 7 different types of attractions for guys. So but they're not all for the same person usually. So I experience creative attraction, romantic attraction, spiritual attraction, aesthetic attraction, clothes attraction, intelligence attraction, emotional attraction. I experience a heck of a lot of attractions, just not sexual and not platonic. So for me, because I don't experience any platonic attraction, I don't have crushes or squishes or anything like that. It's just straight to you. It used to be straight from just met you, few texters, have love feelings for you. That was really, really difficult for me. I have to try and manage it and control it, which is very hard trying to control feelings. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of very difficult. But I manage now most of the time to not have love feelings too soon for someone. It more likely is romantic feelings. Quite strong though sometimes, sort of jump, just from knowing someone. If I'm asexually attracted to a guy, usually foreign guys as well, not that much British. So there's certain foreign guys I look like the look of, like Indian guys is my top attraction. and then I get attracted to Bangladesh, Middle Eastern, and then other foreign guys. Particularly like coloured skin, I find it very, very beautiful aesthetically. So I get very, very drawn to that colour. So yeah, so I personally haven't had that. It's not something that I have, but it doesn't mean there are asexuals that do have that. Well, I think my best friend, they experience a lot of celebrity crushes. I think they're having quite a few at the moment. They were saying one of the times when I was Skyping them. I know my best friend absolutely loves Harry Styles. They're madly in love with Harry Styles. I think it's a bit more than a crush. Yeah, so Harry's their go-to guy. Yeah, so yeah, it's really, really interesting. So yeah, I'm quite unusual in the fact I don't experience any platonic attraction. It's kind of like stereotypical for asexuals to experience platonic attraction. I don't. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you have as well. But I guess you probably didn't know there was so many different types of attractions. There's quite a lot of them. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of clothes attraction, I get attracted to a guy more by certain types of clothes he wears. In terms of creative attraction, if a guy's got a lot of projects he's doing, that type of thing. Alpha, Kenny's, bodies, kids. Okay, hi, how are you doing? So yeah, so if someone's so in terms of creative attraction, if a guy's doing a lot of creative pursuits, got a lot of projects on, that type of thing, is he's a writer or a poet or likes doing artwork or pottery or creating or making things, I'll get attracted to a guy because of that sometimes. Not every guy, but certain guys. And if I experience intelligence attraction, so for someone someone, for example, with me, if they build websites and code websites, I'm Alpha, Kenny, bodies, kids. Right. Yeah. Okay. Hi to you. So in terms of intelligence attraction, a guy who's really intelligent for me personally would be someone who builds websites with code. I really, really get attracted to a guy who can do that, which is quite strange and weird for a girl to find that attractive, particularly, I think. But gender knows no bounds, as we know, and I find it strange for a person, full stop, to be so attracted to someone who does that. But it really, really kind of makes me want to kiss a guy more if I'm asexually attracted to him. I can't kiss a guy I'm not asexually attracted to. So I personally like kissing as well. I like kissing, holding hands, cuddling, but particularly kissing is my thing. So yeah. And then obviously, like, aesthetics is the way the person looks, but for me, I get more attracted to a guy with clothes on than off, much, much more. I prefer, I think a guy in street gear looks so cute and beautiful and stunning. I like black and white clothes quite a bit. They're quite good. I like street look, metallic jacket, hoodie, trainers, like that type of thing, looking really nice. And then I'm actually hugely romantic as well. So for me, romance is like, in a relationship, if I was in a relationship, like, I would want to be with a guy who was hugely romantic as well. I think Hugh Jarden is a good person in the asexual community. I look up to him personally. Hugh Jarden. Oh right, okay. I don't think I've heard of that person, so I'll have to look them up later. So yeah, I don't tend to be on everyone's channels, but yeah, thank you so much for letting me know that. It's really appreciative. I'll look them up and see about them. Thank you. That's really, really good. Yeah. Which country are they in? Do you know? Are they in the UK or are they in America? Because quite a lot of the asexuals that I see in the media, a lot of them are in America, as I'm in the UK. So yeah. But I think it's good for anyone and everyone who's like promoting asexuality or raising awareness of it, that type of thing. I think people do different types of shows and people have different types of flavors of shows, if you know what I mean. So I think it's good that there's different types of shows for different types of people, really. So yeah, like I was saying as well. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was saying earlier about to Dave particularly about the fact that that I did tell that first friend as well when I was in my old job, and they laughed at me. So, but after a year, took them about a year to finally come to terms with the fact that I was asexual, and they stopped. They actually was making a joke that because their friend is the friend I had this friend as well, both are mutual friends, gay, but he didn't accept my asexuality for a year. So both of those people were in my work, and one day that she sat down with him and me, and she was like, "Oh, so it says gay, there's asexuality. Where does heterosexuality fit in anymore? I don't hear about it anymore." And she was saying it like a joke, like heterosexuality isn't popular anymore. Alpha Kenny Bodies Kids, specifically Ireland. Oh right, okay. Liam O'Donovan in the chat is from Ireland, if I remember correctly. So yeah, maybe Liam knows that person. I know someone called Jordan, but not Hugh Jardon. But yeah, thank you very much for letting me know about that, though. It's nice to know. There's quite a lot of asexuals that do more work for the asexual community these days, which I think is really good. The more people we have come out as asexual, the better. Dave, my builder friends bullied me every day for being asexual, so I had to move sites. Oh, that's horrible, Dave. Oh, they weren't really your friends then, were they? But I guess they're alpha males, are they? Like really, like as in a toxic alpha male, I'm guessing. Are they really into like every guy should be macho and want sex, that type of thing? Is that what I mean? Builders are prats anyway. Yeah, I don't like personally for me, I like a guy to have some feminine traits, not just be all guy traits, Toxic masculinity, yeah. Liam, sorry I have to go now, watching you on my phone and the battery's about to go dead. Love you, Sandra. Your channel makes me feel okay about being asexual. Oh, thank you, Liam. Sorry your battery's dying. Lots of love. Thank you for staying on. I know I've been on quite a long time, nearly an hour now, so I do appreciate you being here. Lots of love. Take care, Liam. Thank you so much, and thanks for your support as always, and thanks for your beautiful words. I'm glad you love this channel so much. I love you being here. Thanks for the thumbs up as well. I appreciate you. Lots of love, and take care of you. Yeah, alpha Kenny Bodies Kids, toxic masculinity. Yeah, toxic masculinity isn't good. I'm sure the bigger men get the more toxic alpha I'm sure the bigger men get the more toxic alpha they get. I'm sure the bigger men get the more toxic alpha they get. I'm sure I don't have I read that right? You mean if they get bigger down below, do you mean they get more toxic? Or is that what you mean? I don't know what you mean. But yeah, I've always said that the best type of guys really are guys that do have some feminine traits, and I stick by that. In order to have a serious committed relationship, if a guy wants to be in a relationship, he needs to have some feminine traits for a woman to be able to. Well, it might not be a woman he's in a relationship with, but if he's going to be in a relationship with a woman, for example, that he's got to have some feminine traits for the woman to be able to relate to him. It's very important in any healthy relationship. There's masculine and feminine traits in a person. Alpha Kenny Bodies Kids. Sorry for my English. Englandish. Oh, bless you. I just wanted to make sure I was reading you right, and I wasn't kind of reading something strange that I wasn't supposed to be reading. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'm really sorry, Dave, that happened to you. I can understand if there's a lot of people ganging up as well, it's really, really not nice. But I'm glad that you can actually say that you're asexual. It's really important, really, really important that you're brave enough to do that, so many people, I don't know why so many people have a problem with asexuality, because I've said it before previously on other shows that it's logical that not everyone's going to like sex, because not everyone likes everything. And I don't understand why people can't see the logic in that. Why can't people understand that it's natural and normal for some people to not want sex, because not every person in the world wants everything or likes everything. So for me, there's kind of like an illogic brain that's going on where they're concerned if they're opposing asexuality or ridiculing it or anything, because it's like, well, asexuality is just another sexual orientation. Do you know what I mean? Alpha Kenny Body's kids. I went to a house party yesterday. It was quite fun, but there was way too many people for me. Oh, right, that's interesting. Well, in the UK, we're not supposed to be having house parties. We're supposed to still be, well, we can go out, but we're supposed to be social distancing from 2 meters from people. So, and the people that need to go back to work are allowed to go back to work now, and people are allowed to go around in cars and stuff. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. It's okay, don't worry. I'm sure there's other people doing that as well. I didn't really go to one. Ha, don't tell anyone, please. Don't worry. No one's gonna really know who you are anyway, are they, on this channel? Don't worry. I know there's other people breaking rules as well, so I wouldn't, it's up to people what they do. Yeah, it's up to people what they do. I try not to judge, it's just because, it's crazy times, isn't it? Really, it's very crazy times still. And so I think, it's just best for me to just say the times are crazy, and I know people, I've got people in my groups even that are breaking some rules in that way, but I love my asexual community. Each person's an individual, they have to make their own choice in life. Do you know what I mean? So I just give love to people. Dave, I got bullied so much. I was in a very dark place, but I met Michael and he cheered me up a lot. Oh, Dave, I'm so happy you met Michael. Michael's a really good guy. He really is. He really, really is a lovely, lovely guy. He's a very, very kind guy. He will say what he means and thinks as well. He'll share his point of view in a very constructive way. And I know that you're not the first person who's felt very, very bad because of people's reaction to asexuality. There's and even just bad, like some people feel bad about being asexual. I know people who have been suicidal about it before, which is not good. I don't want anyone to be in that position. I really, really don't. I'm so sorry that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I used to have depression, not because I was asexual, because I didn't know at the time, but I used to have really bad depression and be very, very miserable person and not like my life at all. Very, very bad years ago. 2012 was when I stopped being depressed, and I'd had depression since a childhood. It was not nice. Very, 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 very lonely, dark times. So I really understand. But I'm glad you met Michael. I think it's really important to talk and meet with other asexuals, even if it's just virtually. Alpha Kenny Body's kids. Some people think COVID-19 is a way to control population. Yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about the COVID-19. I tried to not pay too much attention to it as much as possible, because what we focus on expands and it can make us very depressed in our mind. And if we spend all this time paying a lot of time and attention to it, it can actually cause us a lot of damage in our bodies. Thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate you. I've done a few videos on the channel before. Alpha Kenny Body's kids. I refuse to take the vaccine. I don't think there is a vaccine yet. But yeah, I know you can't get away from it. I turn on the TV and Mark Goldbridge into talking rubbish about it. I don't watch TV. Alpha Kenny Body's kids. I don't watch TV at all. I don't watch it. I only have a TV to play Blu-rays, and it's linked up to my HDMI channel with my Blu-ray channel, so it doesn't actually go onto the TV. It goes straight to my Blu-ray. I don't watch TV. Switch it off. No, I haven't watched TV. The only time I watch TV usually is if I go around my parents, because they have it on all the time, and I'm not able to see my mum. My mum's literally self-isolating till whenever the government say that vulnerable people can go out again. So it looks like till at least Christmas, because she's been given an actual doctor's letter saying she's not allowed to go out. Basically, she's high risk category. for at least 2 conditions. Well, 3. She's high risk category anyway. She's got 2 health problems, serious health problems. So, and they've told her if she gets it, she'll have to be hospitalised probably. So she's like, I can't see my mum. Last time I saw her was the 19th of March this year. Eddie, I love naked stuff. Eddie's not asexual, by the way, but Eddie supports his channel. His girlfriend's asexual. Yeah. We've kind of moved on, Eddie, from the conversation about naked. But yeah, I'm glad because Eddie's not asexual. So that's kind of like where Eddie's coming from. I hate naked stuff. But yeah, so well, I was eating. I miss everything. Oh, bless you. Bless you. But I know it's really good, Eddie, that you contribute to the conversation though, because that's what we were originally talking about. Alpha Kenny Body's kids. Mark Goldbridge is a prat. He just spreads rubbish and has an agenda against Burnley. I may just get rid of my TV for now. I pay no attention as much as possible. I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I personally don't like the idea of I've had vaccines when I was a kid, but I personally don't like the idea of vaccines these days. But you know, each to their own whether they want to have one or not. Do you know what I mean? I don't like putting chemical rubbish in my body as much as possible. I prefer to use natural remedies wherever possible for things, including my own health. So yeah, but yeah, I try not to watch it because at the end of the day, the news is just designed to control you, make you depressed, and it just spreads a lot of badness in the mind, you know. And it's hard because, you know, even on Facebook it was always coming up, you know, even when you go out shopping it's still like signs everywhere, so it does get in your mind, you know. But I try and get it out of my mind as much as possible because it's not helping me, you know what I mean. But I specifically don't watch TV. It's a waste of time. If I have to read any news articles, it's kind of like what local shops are open in my area now, so I know what I can go to and what I can't. And if I have to read something about how many meters distance I got to keep, Eddie, I just watch old shows and movies via stream. Well, that's at least better. Don't you find that on YouTube there's still got, like, even if you're trying to get away from the virus situation, there's still like quite a lot of your videos and stuff you watch, it just comes up with like information about COVID anyways. It's kind of like I still want to get away from that. Alpha Kenny Body's kids. I'm a big soccer fan, so I need to watch the soccer. Oh, I don't like sport. That's something I never do. Eddie, news I get from YouTube, but not the mainstream news. Yeah, I don't watch the news. I stay away from it as much as possible. I really just don't watch it. I don't like it. Years ago I've known it's really bad for the mind. It's, you know, it's murder, death, rape, lots and lots of stuff. I do know the virus is real because I know someone whose husband had it, but they recovered from it. They worked for the NHS, but not doctor. So I do know that's the only person I've personally known who's had it and recovered from it, and actually had it that I know of, in to do with me personally knowing them. I don't know the person. I know the wife of the person who had it, not the person themselves. But it's good that, you know, we have to look at positives. There's a lot of people that recover from it, a lot of people that don't have it. So it's really, really good. Eddie, news I get from YouTube but not the mainstream news. Yeah, so it's very interesting as well when Eddie was saying about loving the naked stuff. Obviously, I was saying at the beginning of this video that that's usually a big difference between asexuals and sexuals. That a lot of sexuals, they'll like nudity because they'll kind of like get off on it quite a lot, you know, in a sexual sense, they'll enjoy it. Whereas asexuals, well, some asexuals still like do stuff to that because they still watch porn and relieve arousal, but sexuals in general look at it in a more sexual attraction way, whereas asexuals overall tend to look at it more of an artistic way. Is Eddie's girlfriend asexual? Yes, Dave. Eddie's girlfriend is asexual. They've been together for 2 years now, I believe, Eddie. And Eddie shared their personal story on this channel a while ago, and it is incredible. So yes, Eddie's been 2 years with your girlfriend, haven't you, Eddie? She's wonderful. Yeah, Eddie's very, very supportive. Eddie's amazing. Eddie really supports his channel, is on the stream quite a lot. And Eddie is totally in love with his asexual girlfriend. and they don't have sex. So yeah, they haven't met in person yet. Eddie's going to meet them this year if it's possible. So how does that work, Eddie? I don't know if Eddie wants to answer that or if you want me to answer for Eddie, because I've been following Eddie's story, haven't I? A lot of conversation and listening. Yeah, I think it's really good. Because Eddie used to be the opposite. Well, used to be, like very after a lot of women, didn't you, Eddie? And Eddie's admits that Eddie's done a lot of self-development and personal development with themselves to be a better person overall, and mutual hobbies. Yeah, it's really nice that you're here, Eddie, because I expect Dave's really, appreciating this, Yeah, Eddie was a sexual animal. So Eddie is really, really good because they explain exactly what they were like, and they don't hide their sexual past, or the way they used to be with women. But Eddie's really, comes on this channel, always supporting the channel. Learned quite a lot through the channel. Nicely, too much action. So yeah, and Heather sometimes comes on this channel quite a bit as well. She's not asexual. She supports this channel quite a lot as well. So it's really, really nice to have other people here supporting. I'm jealous of her. She's still pure. Oh, bless. By pure, you mean she hasn't had sex with anyone, I'm guessing. That I have to say, not you, because I know you're a good guy for her, but I have to say there are some sexual guys I meet, and they're just interested in me. They're interested in the purity of asexuals. It kind of turns them on, and it's like, I'm not here to turn you on, mate. I'm just here because I'm actually asexual. Yes. Dave, how can you be in a relationship with someone asexual if you're not? Because Eddie doesn't have sex with his asexual girlfriend and take care of his needs himself. But obviously Eddie can answer that himself. But that if anyone else is listening, then that's basically how it works. So some sexuals can be with asexuals in a relationship and not have sex because they're okay with it. Yeah. They don't have to have boom boom in a relationship, Dave. She picked me. Yeah. So basically they don't have sex. Eddie and his asexual girlfriend don't have sex. And obviously a sexual person can masturbate themselves. They can relieve their arousal like that. They don't actually have to have sexual intercourse. Just some really need the sexual intercourse. I'm very blunt on this channel, by the way. So if you're at all sex repulsed and don't like some of this language, I do apologise. But it's kind of like I'd be very, very blunt about what I say, because I don't like. Do you know what I mean? I don't like people not understanding. I kind of like to be straight down the line and blunt. So there's no misunderstandings about what I'm trying to say. Sometimes a little bit more subtle, but not usually very much. I'm kind of full on like expressing myself. I don't Alpha Kenny Bodies Kids. I don't even like the word sex. Prefer boom boom. Sex is cringy. Dave, thanks for the info. I do use the word sex quite a bit. I have to tell you, just so you know, so you're not, completely freaked out. Because I cover all the asexual spectrum on this channel. So from those who are sex repulsed all the way up to people who are on the more sexual end of the spectrum and do actually have sex. And my book I'm currently writing is Asexual Guide to Sex. I'm very open and honest about that. Which you might think, why is a asexual person writing about Asexual Guide to Sex? And it's because I have a lot of people who are asexual still going to be in relationships or in relationships with sexuals, and some of whom are having sex. And some of whom are in relationships or going into relationships and they don't have a clue what they're doing. And I get a lot of private messages from, for example, foreign women who are having arranged marriages and their partner isn't asexual and they don't know what to do. And they are really upset and they're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't naturally want sex. What the heck do I do? How do I look after myself? And so that's why I wrote Asexual Guide to Sex. I've actually got 15 people in the book asexuals that I've interviewed, all of whom have had sex or having sex. That's to help others. So I like to help everyone in the asexual spectrum on this channel, which I appreciate. Is some of the stuff I say is a bit like I'm sex repulsed, but only for myself, not for others. So but I wanted to be honest. Eddie, I understand in my life that all the events I had with girls was just pure lust and fake love, but with my current girlfriend, it's actually love here. Oh, yeah, that's what I like about Ed. He's very honest. Alpha Kenny Bodies Kids, are you on TikTok? It's a video site. No, I'm not on TikTok. Alpha Kenny Bodies Kids. I know there's quite a lot of people that are on there, but I'm not on there. I do a lot of social media, so I run 5 asexual groups on Facebook. I've been on this channel for 5 years now, since 2015. Well, 5 years in October 2020. So like 4.5 years I've been doing this channel, but I didn't used to do a live stream all the time. Now I try and do live stream every single night if I can, so people can have a talk, you know, and know someone's actually here. And I share my own asexual life journey in order to help others. So I think it's one thing talking about asexuality and giving textbook definitions of it and stuff like that, but it's very different knowing how it affects an asexual in real life and real time with real life situations, not just textbook definitions. So I do give some textbook definitions of asexuality, particularly in my earlier videos, but I'm all about showing my own. So I do a lot of dating and relationship stuff on this channel because I am usually on dating sites, and well, I'm still on dating sites now, just I'm focusing more on my career at the moment than dating. But yeah, I run 5 asexual groups on Facebook. 3 are dating, one's to make asexual friends, one's a small business group for asexuals. And all the 3 dating groups, they're all different. One is for no sex dating, so asexuals that don't want sex at all. Another one is for just the UK asexuals, that's a dating and support group combined. And then I run the grey asexual and demisexual dating group as well for those on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum. This is my book, by the way, in case you missed it at the beginning. So that was a book that I published in 2017. It's a really big book. So it's called Asexual Perspectives. The link's down below if you did want to check it out. But it's basically got 47 different real life asexual stories in it. I've used it quite a lot. So they're all given their own chapter. So they all answer interview questions, which is pretty much everything you'd want to know about asexuality if you're first discovering it, or, you know, understand the asexual spectrum. So it's to celebrate the diversity across the spectrum. So it's all different stories. Some sex repulsed asexuals in there. There's aromantic asexuals, heteromantic, biromantic, demisexual. There's all different types to celebrate the diversity across the spectrum. So how much is the book? Good question. I mean, it's linked down below. The book in the UK. Are you in the UK? Days. The book in the UK, I think it's 18.95. Currently, I think it is. You'll have to double check. I don't change the price of the printed book because I don't make much money on it. It's like a huge book. Do you know what I mean? It goes on for 500 and about 500 and something pages, 40 something pages. So 543, just over 543 pages. So like it's a huge book. It took me a year to write this book, you know. It's not about the price, it's about the education you get in it. And you get all this different advice in the book. So you get all the different like viewpoints on love, viewpoints about relationships, what's your deepest fear or concern or worry about being asexual. If you're not in a relationship, would you like to be in one? If so, why? And what type of relationship? What would your ideal relationship look like? So it has got some people in the book. It's got one person who is asexual in the book in a relationship with a bisexual, and they don't have sex either. So it is a really, really good read. So it's in Kindle format, and it's in ebook format. Sorry, it's in Kindle format, but yeah, I do have it in a PDF format, but the links are down below, the Amazon links for the UK and USA. You can order this. This has got its own ISBN, so you can actually order it from bookshops if you want to, but Amazon, most people get it from. If you go directly through Amazon, it's the cheapest. Some other bookshops are selling this for 60 quid, whereas I've got it priced on Amazon 18.95, I think it is. So yeah, I am. I'll take a look after the stream. Dave, any more questions? Yeah, any more questions for Eddie? Because Eddie can answer a lot of questions. It's really nice, obviously, having Eddie here, because Eddie can answer, like any questions they want. It's really important. So yeah, so basically, some asexuals can be with sexuals in relationships, some can't. It depends on both the people. So yeah, so Eddie, I think you've been in a relationship for 2 years, haven't you, with your asexual partner? Is that right? From what I remember you saying. So, and they send each other gifts, don't you? Send each other gifts from the post and stuff like that. Because you're having a long distance relationship at the moment, aren't you? 2 years, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's really important that yeah, I guess like it's going to be hard if you don't like the word sex, because I do use it quite a bit on this channel, which I guess puts some people off. But I just like talking about all the asexual spectrum, and I'm very blunt. I kind of don't like mincing my words because it just confuses people. 10 plus spent trying to get her. Yeah, so Eddie spent 10 years trying to get the love of his life, which was the asexual person he's in a relationship with. And she was on this channel once, and they're very, very good couple together. And she's aromantic, but a cupiaromantic last time she was saying, isn't she? Cupiaromantic asexual. So a cupiaromantic is on the aromantic spectrum, and cupiaromantic is someone who desires a romantic relationship despite not experiencing any romantic attraction. So the aromantic spectrum has, I say aromantic, some people pronounce it aromantic, so absence of romantic attraction. So the aromantic spectrum has obviously, as someone who's aromantic, then you have grey romantic, demi-romantic, and also cupiaromantic. You might have some others as well, but those are the main four. So someone who's grey romantic does experience romantic attraction, but only under limited, rare, or specific circumstances. And someone who's demi-romantic does experience romantic attraction, but only when a deep emotional bond's been formed. Otherwise, they're just aromantic feelings, and they don't experience any romance otherwise. So like I said, there's cupiaromantic, who desires a romantic relationship despite experiencing no romantic attraction. So so the aromantic spectrum's got kind of 4 different types of aromantics in it. So not everyone knows that, and that the cupiaromantic isn't very well talked about, but I did a video on this channel about it a long time ago, because some people were saying it's invalid, and it's not invalid. Like, everyone on the asexual spectrum is valid. Do you know what I mean? So it's really, really important that we acknowledge that. And I've known cupiaromantics. I've known a few cupiaromantics. So it's really, really important that we understand there are people that want a romantic relationship despite not experiencing romantic attraction. Dave, are you attracted towards your girlfriend sexually, Eddie? Oh, that's what they want to know. A question for Eddie. I know Eddie is sexually attracted to their girlfriend, aren't you, Eddie? As far as I know, they are, because just because they're with an asexual partner doesn't mean to say they're not sexually attracted to them. But I'm sure Eddie can answer if Eddie's still here, because I know it's getting late now, so I'm going to call the stream to an end soon. But but Eddie basically takes care of himself. Sure, but I have to calm that. So yeah, so I've been in relationships. Well, I've dated sexuals. Refocus that. Yeah, it's really good Eddie is able to say this to Dave. Refocus. Yeah, so Eddie's saying that they are sexually attracted to their asexual girlfriend, but they have to calm that and refocus. And it's really important. Some sexuals are are strong enough to do that, others aren't. But Eddie knows that asexuality is pure love, instead of fake love, and that's the real difference. Asexual love is the purest form of love, in my personal opinion, because it means we can love without the sexual genitalia being involved, and without like all that stuff, so that when we love, it's pureness of our hearts. If we have a partner and they they end up disabled or have an accident or something and can't have sex physically, we'll still love them. But sexuals don't usually work like that. Eddie, let it sink in that the night before she asked me out, I wish to find my better half. Oh, I know, it's beautiful, Eddie. Oh, I'm glad she picked you as well. It's really nice. Oh, that's really sweet. Eddie's got such a lovely love story. Which, yeah, that's not going to be my next book after the Asexual Guide to Sex book. It's going to be Asexual Love Stories. So, yeah, she's my wish granted. Oh, that's really, really nice, Eddie. It's really, really, really beautiful. I wish every asexual that wants to be in a relationship find that. Dave, I hope to find someone for myself too. Yeah, Dave, it is difficult for asexuals to find a partner. I mean, I run 3 asexual dating groups, and I still haven't found my right partner. And I'm on two asexual dating sites as well. And I'm on a dating site that's not for asexuals, which I've not gone on since the 14th of May, and we're now the 23rd now. Because on that site, most of them pretty much all want sex. I found one person that didn't. That's about it. And I'm in some dating groups on Facebook now that aren't for asexuals as well. But I did find a really good asexual friend in one of them. I found 2 asexuals lurking in one of them, and one of them is now a really good friend of mine. And they didn't realise about asexuality, so that's really good. So you never know where asexuals might be hanging out, because it's not easy to know if you're asexual or not. Most people find out later. I didn't find it out till 2014 was when I found out I was asexual. Eddie found the love of his life on YouTube. It's really good. It's really good. Wouldn't it be lovely, Eddie, if my guy found me on YouTube? An Indian guy in the UK, preferably. Oh, man. Who actually didn't need a housewife or kids or marriage or the sex word. So because I'm not into marriage or kids or sex either. Although I have had sex in the past. So yeah, it's really good, Eddie. I like it because Dave, there's 2 of my friends as well in relationships with asexuals, and they're asexual themselves. One's married their asexual partner last year, so they're both 2 asexuals married. And then the other person who watches my channel as well, he's older asexual and has a younger asexual fiance. So they're both asexual. So so you can sometimes find a sexual person suitable for you. I mean, I wouldn't mind being with a sexual if I could trust them, but every sexual guy that is attracted to me, they're just not trustworthy guys, usually, not for the long term, unfortunately. But yeah, it's really, really nice. It gives us hope, doesn't it, Dave? I've been searching for my guy for six years now, since 2014. It's a long time. It's a long time, but I think we've just got to stay positive and understand that that it can happen. You can find true love with an asexual or with someone who isn't asexual as well. So yeah, because like I said, there's someone in my book that's bisexual. They're asexual, sorry, and their partner's bisexual. They're with a bisexual, and not having sex didn't matter to them either. So it's really good to know this, that not everyone's the same. So yeah, and I really love Eddie being here. I appreciate Eddie so much. I know you're really, really good for this channel. I really, really appreciate you. Is there any more questions for Eddie? Because I'm probably gonna call the stream to an end. But I want to make sure there's any more questions for Eddie right now that I answered. But yeah, so Eddie, it's for one more question. It's a long distance relationship, isn't it, Eddie? Still, and you're hoping, if it was possible, to meet them this year, but I don't know if that'll be possible now with the situation that's going on in the world with the thing that's happening, viral stuff at the moment. So yeah, the virus situation. I'm not sure if that's going to happen for a while, but it'd be nice if you could, wouldn't it? Meet up, be really, really good. Yep, damn virus screwed me. Yeah, I thought that was the case. Yeah. I mean, I do think that it's good at the moment to be able to speak to more people online. I think for anyone who's not found the love of their life, we can like have more opportunities of talking to more people now because more people are online than ever before. So technically, there should be more asexuals online than ever before. Maybe we can find someone, but we just got to be careful that we don't get used by those people that are just talking to us because they're bored at home. I've come across some of them. That's not good. You want people to be able to keep the relationship going. Like Eddie, 2 years long distance relationship with that asexual girlfriend, and they're not asexual. It's just incredible. So it proves that it can be done. I think it's really good of both of you to be able to do that. I personally, that I could only do it long distance relationship if it was in my own country. Really, because I want to be able to see the person quite a bit, like once a month, really, at least, ideally. Do you know what I mean? Or once every 6 weeks. You all seen Bigfoot right here. You all seen Bigfoot right here. Oh, bless. But yeah, I think it's Dave. I was in a relationship with someone and they left me because they wanted sex in the relationship. Well, that's horrible, Dave. I've been cheated on though. I was with heterosexuals for a long time and I did have sex in the past, but they still cheated on me. Probably because with one of them I hardly had it. I think I had it 3 times and I was with them for like a long number of years. So and he ended up having an affair with a woman who had a child. So yeah, and he told my mum before he told me, which was nice of him not. So yeah, and I just moved in and got a mortgage then. That's in my very past life. I don't usually talk about that much. So yeah, that was my only time I ever had a mortgage. I moved in on the 1st of December, the 21st. He told my mum he'd been having an affair with this woman with a kid. Not me, but my mum, and I just got a mortgage. It's like, why didn't you say that before we got the mortgage and moved into this place? It became a nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you, Dave. I think it happens to a lot of asexuals. A lot of asexuals get cheated on. You know, I think, it's just best to be upfront with anyone you're thinking about getting into a relationship with. If they don't accept it from the beginning, then just don't be in a relationship with them. But some of them say they accept it and they don't. They just lie because they think you'll change your mind. They think you're just playing hard to get or you're being shy. Which is, I'll go to nightclubs because I do go to nightclubs and they'll be like, oh, I say I don't like sex, and they'll be like, oh, I don't like sex as well. It's like, yeah, clearly you do, because you're asking me, like, I asked me to get a taxi back to my place. They've been dancing with them 5 minutes. I'm like, clearly you do like sex. Well, otherwise, why do you need to come back to my place? Do you know what I mean? Eddie, Dave, if they cannot curb the urges, they are not good enough for you. Exactly. If they can't curb the urges, if they need sex, then they're just not right for you. I can't be with someone who needs that. And unfortunately, a lot of the population still do need that. But not everyone is like that. And we have to remember that it is possible, especially if Eddie is evidence that it's possible. I mean, because I love kissing so much, very passionate kissing, tongue kissing, actually. In some ways, I'd be more suited to a sexual guy because they seem to like kissing a lot more. But they're they want sex, and I can't do that. And then, the guys on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum, even some of them are too sexual for me. So, and then because of the way I like to kiss, is kind of sexual behavior sometimes. Asexual guys think it's too, that asexual guys that are not on the sexual end of the spectrum, for them, the kissing, they don't want as much kissing, they don't want much at all, and it's too sexual in behavior for them. So I'm either too sexual in behavior for some asexual guys and not sexual enough for them on the more sexual end of the asexual spectrum, or sexual guys. So I'm like, a bit stuck there, but I'm like, whatever. I just keep being me, One day I think someone will turn up. So there's someone for everyone, I believe. Whatever flavor you are or aren't, whatever you like, what you don't like, I think there's someone for everyone in the world. Sometimes it's just not the right time for us to meet that person yet. Sometimes we have to do more self-development work on ourselves. Sometimes we have to do career stuff. sometimes, you know. And if I'm destined to be on my own single forever, it's not the end of the world. I do like being single anyway. It works very well for me being single, actually, because I'm very unconventional. So the lifestyle I lead is very, very not suitable to be in a relationship, really. The guy would have to live separate from me, because otherwise it just wouldn't be a good relationship, because I don't get to bed till like 4 in the morning or later usually. So my nighttime is usually my daytime, and my daytime is usually my nighttime. It's completely yeah, upside down, topsy turvy. So yeah, but you know, so it does prove that some guys can live without sex. Just you've got to be careful, just because some, like I said, some sexuals, they say they can do that sex and they can't. You know, one guy who I met up with, he was like, he told me, so I didn't even take you seriously, and I've got a book out on Amazon. I'm like, how can you not take me seriously when it's a published book on Amazon? There's got to be actual people who are asexual who buy the book, otherwise the book wouldn't be there available to publish, would it? Or am there? What's my job? I'm technically self-employed, so I'm an author of that book, and I have some other books out on Amazon. And I'm a trainer, online trainer. I have Asexualise Academy. I've got 2 asexual courses coming out, meet-up courses soon. And I used to work in retail before I was made redundant. So I used to work in retail for 5 years. That was my last employed job. So yeah, so online trainer, author. I'm t-shirt designer as well. I haven't done much of that. So I've got Redbubble shop, which is merchandise for asexuals. Got like 60 of my own designs on there. But I'm actually doing some new businesses this year, one of which is going to be very controversial because it's the opposite to asexuality. It's helping sexuals. Oh my God. When I say helping them, it's to do with, it's called erogenicity. So I'm erogenous asexual with the guy's upper body, not with his private parts. So it's not something I really want to be doing, helping sexuals. But at the end of the day, I do need to get word of asexuality out to sexuals somehow. So yeah, so I'm doing 3 businesses, 2 for entrepreneurship this year and 1 for erogenicity, which, you know, like, I'm erogenous, but I don't want sex. So you can have you can be erogenous without actually having sex, which is how I am. But obviously there's a lot of sexuals. Help us, damn it. Yeah, I do help you. I'll always be helping you, but I can't, you know, I can't make money out of fresh air. Do you know what I mean? So most things I do for asexuals, the majority of which is free. Do you know what I mean? So if I had like loads of customers buying tons of asexual stuff, then I wouldn't even really look at helping sexuals. But you know, I do have a lot of gifts in that way, because I have been in heterosexual relationships for half my life, and I'm still going to be helping you because I'm going to be saying I'm asexual on that channel. So I'm going to be getting, I don't know if I'm going to do a channel or not, actually. I haven't decided that yet, but I've got a book coming out for them. Oh my God. I know. It's like quite controversial. I'm quite nervous about it, you know, but it's like at the end of the day, I've got to get through to sexuals anyway. The fact that asexuality is real, exists, and it needs to be accepted as a valid sexual orientation. The only way I'm going to do that is jumping into the pan and the fire, as it were. So, you know, because I need to be making money from home. Like I said, I was working in retail for 5 years. But I was made redundant. So I need to, you know, and I technically work from home. So I need to be doing other stuff. So yeah. How old is Eddie? I think I know the answer to that. I think Eddie's 42, aren't you, Eddie? Last time you told me. Is that right? If you want, I know you. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'll always be helping asexuals. I mean, obviously, I've got the Asexual Guide to Sex book coming out as soon as I can finish it. I've got to finish off my other stuff at the moment. At the moment, I'm doing Asexual Meter Mastery course. I'm doing the sales page for that, and how to arrange a successful online asexual meetup. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Sales pages for both them before they're officially launched. That's what I'm working on at the moment. So yeah, most of my stuff for. Oh, Dave wants to know how old Eddie's girlfriend is. So I don't actually think I've asked you that. I don't like talking about my age, by the way. So don't ask me my age. I don't talk about my age. My birth certificate age has got nothing to do with my actual mindset age. So I don't know if Eddie wants to talk about that or not. I don't know if Eddie's girlfriend likes to publicly say or not about that, because I don't even know the answer to that. So, but yeah, so But it's good that Eddie's got an asexual girlfriend. It's really important. Yeah. So, um, yeah. Do you want to say Eddie, or is it private? That it's up to you. Oh, she is a young girl. Yeah. I don't think Eddie wants to say. I personally like younger guys. I like guys in their early to mid-20s. That's what I like. I'm an asexual cougar, not a sexual one. So I'm absence of sexual attraction, but I want to kiss, hug a guy. 8 years difference. Oh right, I didn't know that, Eddie. That's not very big at all. No, it's not very big at all. Yeah, that's really not very big at all. So yeah, I like younger guys, much younger guys. But, I think it's hard when you've got different niche needs as well. Like in the asexual community, when you're trying to find someone for a relationship, we've all got different needs. Like some like kissing and cuddling, some just like cuddling, some like, like not even doing that. Some are really romantic, some are not so romantic, some like nudity, some don't like nudity. Um, some people have different hobbies and interests and stuff like that. But I do think that with asexuals, we're much more upfront usually about what we like, what we don't like. We fall in love through emotional connection usually more than anything else. So if the emotional bond is really, really strong, then it's wonderful. Do you know what I mean? And it requires a lot of communication. Any good relationship requires a heck of a lot of communication, backwards and forwards between the people involved, whether you're asexual or not, but particularly if you're asexual with a person who's not asexual, which I think Eddie's covered quite well, saying the communication, listening, and that. Because Eddie's had to learn quite a lot about asexuality and about how our minds think differently, because we do think differently, we do talk differently, we see the world very different. We see the world very, very very different mindset as well. Do you know what I mean? So very different mindset. Like I like a teenager style relationship. Um, you know, with like all the sweet innocent stuff, they're kissing, they're cuddling, sitting on each other's laps, all that type of thing. But when it comes to actually the adult sexual stuff, I just like, oh, it's too much for me. So I want to go cuddle on my cuddly toys. Thanks very much. I'll watch a nice dance movie. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it just gets too much. It's like, really, I just don't want it. It's not nice. You know what I mean? It gets too much. And, and I do think there are a lot of, like I said, there are a lot of sexual guys who don't believe about asexuality and who don't accept it. But we need to get that changed. I think there's quite a lot of asexuals that aren't making a difference. I think we need to make more of a difference, particularly with heterosexuals understanding us. There's still a lot of heterosexuals that have never heard of asexuality before. Like people come on my page, my Facebook page, and they think that asexual means that I'm a highly sexual person. And they start messaging me going, I want to see videos. I'm like, well, I'm not sure what videos you mean, because it's the business page for asexuals and it's a sexual orientation, there's a lack of sexual attraction, so we don't want sex. So yeah, I do know what videos they're talking about, really. They're talking about naughty videos, but I'm pretending like I don't really know what they're talking about. So and I'm like, well, I've got videos on my channel, but they're the type of videos you want to see. When I was younger, I didn't know what asexual was. Yeah, I didn't know what asexual was either, Eddie. I mean, when I first heard the term asexual as well, I was a bit disgusted because it's got the word sexual in it. And I'm like, but I'm not sexual. So why is it called asexual? Why has it got the word sexual in there? That's disgusting. It took me ages to be able to even say that. Now I say it all the time. Now I'm completely cool and confident and happy with it. But when I first found out, I'm like, but it doesn't make sense. If you're asexual, why would you have the word sexual in there? Because it doesn't make sense. Because I don't want to be sexual. I don't want sex. Why is it in there? It doesn't make sense. And then I understood that the A meant really stands for absence of sexual attraction. So it's absence of sexual attraction, asexual. So that made sense. And when I worked it out like that, and I'm like, that makes sense. So then I became fine with it. But there's so many sexuals, when they first hear of the term, they honestly think it means that I'm highly sexual. That's why I do a lot of I have to questions for people to get into my asexual groups. I always ask them questions. If they don't pass the questions, don't answer the questions at all, they don't usually get in. And if they don't pass answering them correctly, they don't get in. Because some groups on Facebook that are for asexuals, they haven't just got asexuals in them, they've got sexuals in them, because they don't vet them well enough. You know, they just let people come in the groups that are not even asexual. And you know, there's only one group I let a few selected individuals in that's not asexual. That's asexual friends. There's less than 10 people in that group that's not asexual. And that's because they're like partners of asexuals and they want to understand better or support it. And they, but you know, it's at my discretion. Like all the other groups are not allowed in them. So you know, and they have to be respectful. I've never had a problem with anyone in that group who's sexual, not asexual, being, you know, not understanding or rude or anything. But that's because, like I said, they've all had asexual partners. Usually, the people that have come into the groups, or they've had quite a lot to do with asexuality at some point in their lives. So you know, but I think it's really important to find someone who, you know, that you actually gel with really well. And you know, I think more people were like Eddie and saw the beauty in asexual love and saw the purity and the you know the faithfulness as well. You know, it's not like we're going to go off with anyone else sexually, is it? I mean, asexuals can still cheat though. There are some guys I've met, asexual guys, and they're literally like, you know, like one guy, I've mentioned him before, I think years ago, from Mexico. He was actually in a relationship with a woman, was chatting me up and chatting another woman up. I didn't even realise he was in a relationship until he said so. And I said, so you like chatting me up as well as having a girlfriend? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm chatting this other woman up as well. And I'm like, really? I blocked him in the end. I'm like, I don't want anything to do with that type of guy, you know? And there was another guy that used to go around chatting up loads of women. And I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm like, well, you know what I mean? So you can get asexual womanizers as well, not just sexual ones, which is quite surprising, really. But it does happen, you know? So you have to be aware of that. And it's difficult when you're asexual as well, because I find a lot of the asexual dating sites, then it's you know, it's kind of hard to, because there's not a lot of interaction. Dave's gonna go. I'm gonna go now. When is next stream? Almost daily. Yeah, I try to stream if I can every day nearer midnight. It's always after 11 p.m. UK time usually. The only time I'll be streaming earlier is on Sunday, because on Sunday I've got to Skype my best asexual friend Sam at 9 o'clock, so I'll be doing it earlier one Sunday, and I've got to speak to my parents because it's their anniversary. So I'll be doing it later, probably. Yeah, so I try to do it every day if I can. There's sometimes something crops up, like business wise or otherwise, or illness or something, but most of the time, or some technical difficulty, or I just like really late working. Like today I was like just like on it was half a minute to midnight when I came on here, because I've been working and then I end up going to the shower later and stuff and eating later. So but yeah, so it's usually around midnight UK time. But if you are subscribed, Dave, and you hit the bell icon, you'll get notified immediately I go live. So make sure you've hit the bell icon, Dave, and then you'll get notified. I'm going to go now anyway, so I'm going to say bye to you, Dave. I'm going to say bye, Teddy. Just make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon. And lots of love to you both, and lots of love to the other people that were on earlier, Liam and Alpha Kenny Body's kids. Lots of love to all of you. I'm going to go now. Take care, and don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live, like post a new video. Bye. Thanks, Eddie, for answering the questions. Lots of love to you all. Bye.